So you're thinking about buying a golf cart? Awesome. But before you jump in, you should know that one wrong turn in this process can literally cost you thousands. Well, in this explainer, we're going to give you the roadmap to make a really smart purchase so you can spend your time cruising, not worrying. It is so easy to get caught up in the fun stuff, the paint color, those custom wheels, a killer sound system. But this right here says it all. The most important questions aren't about the cup holders. They're about things like VIN numbers. And trust me, getting that part wrong can turn your dream ride into a very, very expensive lawn ornament. So how do you avoid that nightmare scenario? Well, it actually boils down to one simple question you have to ask yourself before you even start shopping. If you get this one thing right, the rest of the process gets a whole lot easier.
Okay, so what is this all-important, game-changing question? Let's get right into it.
Here it is, the big one. And look, you gotta be brutally honest with yourself here. Not where you hope you'll drive it, but where are you actually gonna be driving it day in and day out? Are we talking about zipping around the golf course and your neighborhood, or are you really planning to cruise down public roads? Your answer to that question immediately puts you into one of two camps. You either need a standard golf cart, or you need what's called a street-legal low-speed vehicle, or LSV. And as you can see, they might look pretty similar, but believe me, under the hood, they are worlds apart. And let's be perfectly clear on this. An LSV is not just a golf cart with a few extra bells and whistles. It's a completely different class of vehicle. It's federally regulated. It has a VIN number, just like your car, and it's built to meet safety standards for the road, not just the fairway. Now, this right here is where a lot of people get confused. That 35-mile-per-hour rule applies to the road's speed limit, not the cart's. Your LSV is legally capped at 25 miles per hour. So if a dealer tells you they can unlock the speed for you, they're not doing you any favors. What they're actually doing is making your vehicle illegal. All right, now that we've got the legal side of things sorted out, let's talk about the money. Because that sticker price you see, oh, that is just the tip of the iceberg. A standard car might seem like the cheaper option, right? You see it for around 9 grand. But once you factor in a new set of batteries every few years, which can be pricey, plus regular maintenance, you're suddenly looking at a 5-year total cost of around $16,000. Now, let's pivot to the SLV. Yeah, the upfront cost is higher, but the real budget killer is the ongoing expenses. We're talking mandatory car insurance, annual registration fees. You can see how you get to that $28,000 figure pretty darn quick. And this chart really just puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Over 5 years, that what if I want to drive on the street idea could cost you an extra $10,000 or more. So you really have to ask yourself, is it actually worth it? And speaking of costs, don't get fooled by this classic line. You'll see ads for $75 a year insurance. And yeah, that's technically true for a bare bones policy on a cart that literally never leaves your yard. If you're going on the road, that's a whole different story. This is a huge one. For an LSV, you need real car insurance, not just something called a golf cart policy. That means you have to call your agent and specifically ask for an LSV policy that meets your state's motor vehicle requirements. And as you can see, yeah, that's a whole lot more expensive. And, as if that wasn't complicated enough, there's another whole layer to this onion, your local laws. Because what's perfectly legal in one town might get you a hefty ticket right next door. And I'm not kidding. The rules are all over the map. Take a look. In Florida, you can have totally different laws in neighboring towns. California is super strict. And in Texas, it can be a total free-for-all depending on the city. The bottom line here is you cannot assume anything. I really can't stress this enough. You have to do your local homework. A 5-minute phone call to your city clerk or a quick look at your HOA's written rules could save you from making a massive, expensive mistake. All right, to help you navigate all this and, not get taken for a ride, we've put together a pre-purchase checklist. Think of this as your secret weapon. Okay, screenshot this if you need to. These are the absolute non-negotiables your LSV must have to be legal. No exceptions. And see that last one, the 17-digit VIN? That's the golden ticket. If it doesn't have a proper VIN, it is not a real LSV, period. Now, here's a classic sales trap. Road ready. It sounds official, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's just a marketing term that means basically nothing. Street legal is the legal standard you need to look for. They are not the same thing. Seriously, just do this. I know it seems like a pain, but it'll probably take you 20 minutes, and it could save you thousands and thousands of dollars. These 4 quick calls will give you every piece of information you need to make a smart decision. So, are you thinking about maybe buying a cheap standard cart and just upgrading it yourself? Whoa, be careful. It is not as simple as it sounds. The parts are expensive, the labor's expensive, and at the end of the day, you might still end up with a cart that isn't actually legal. Okay, to bring this all home, here's a handy little cheat sheet. As you can see, when you put them side by side, the differences between a standard cart and an LSV are pretty dramatic. This is really what it all boils down to. Look, at the end of the day, it's your money. But the choice is simple. If you're staying on private property, get the standard cart and save yourself over 10 grand. Only spend the extra money on an LSV if you absolutely have to drive on public roads. So there you have it. That's the smart way to buy a golf cart. Now that you know the rules and the real costs, you can make the right choice for your road. And that is a whole lot more important than how many cup holders it has.